Welcome to readtheticker.com. Today we're going to talk about the application of Gann angles to a price chart. We've already established a one-to-one squaring of time and price chart for the 10-year US Treasury bill. How to do this was in a previous video. There are two methods to draw Gann angles. One is the quick draw guide, the other is through the object saving method. First we're going to use the quick draw guide. Scroll down a bit. Alrighty, here we are. Here we can hold down the X key and the Z key, select a point, and the angles will draw. Let's go back. Okay, let's hold down the Z key to get a bullish Gann angle. Hold down the X key to get a bearish Gann angle. The 0 degrees is always the horizontal from the selected point, and it counts back like this. That is 0 and that is 86. That is 0, that is 86. I know on a protractor that is 360 and it goes back to 270, but for our purposes we've just added it back. Let's go through the points of Gann angles. Gann angle lines are only valuable if they are not breached. Bullish Gann angles, we wish to find price where it's falling back onto the angle to bounce off, so a minor reversal in line with the trend. Bearish Gann angle, we're trying to find price that bounces up to the angle and bounces off them and continues the price downwards. When we place the Gann angle, we're looking for the pivot point prior to the impulse move. For example, we're not really interested in that pivot point. We're more interested in this one as the impulse move is down here. And as a downtrend has multiple impulse moves, we can move the Gann angle down to the next pivot. Also, another interesting point is that, as I said, the 0 degrees is along here, and the 86 is up here. The higher the degree, the quicker price is moving. So in these corridors of Gann angles, the price is moving very quickly. Very quickly. And another important aspect of the Gann angle is the 45-degree line. The red line is the 45-degree line. This is price and time moving up in increments of 1. For example, if time increases 1 unit, price will increase in 1 unit. Time decreases in 1 unit, price would decrease in 1 unit. The degrees, for example, below the 45-degree line is the 26.5. So therefore, that would be 2 units in time for 1 unit in price. That would be 4 units in time for 1 unit in price. Obviously, on the other side, this would be 1 unit in time for 2 units in price. Gann would say that the bullish trend is above the 45-degree and a bearish trend is below. I would say we would consider a very strong trend if it was above the 26.5 degrees. And a bearish trend can still be here when it's below the 26.5 degrees. Now that we understand Gann angles, how to apply them, we've already have our chart in a setting of 1-to-1 in time and price. We can use the quick draw guide angles to go fishing along our pivot points to work out which angles are appropriate. Okay, let's have a go. Holding down the X key, we're going to look at the bearish view first. Selecting our pivots, we'll select the first one. Here we see all the lines have been breached down here. The ones that have not been breached are these two here. We can see some important meetings of price and to the angles here. A breakout there. So if I was to save this one, I would draw this angle holding these two lines here. And the other lines would not keep. Let's go to our next pivot. Here we have this angle which has not been breached. This one here I would say It's been tested but not breached. Look at the marriage of price on these lines here. The price was in this corridor here. Okay. We can also here see the 45-degree line. Price could not break that on that trend down. A breach there and a test and a bounce. So we keep on going down our bearish view, seeing where the angles are price and time. For example, this is a price going up. I think Gann would be looking for trading activity to go short here and there. These are tests. For example, price ran up but broke and continued on. That could have been a trade there. That one there could have been a bit tricky. That one there could have been considered. This one here could have been considered. Continue on with our bearish view. Here we see a 45-degree line and a major junction here. A lot of testing here. Continue on. We see how this trend maintained itself in the corridor of 45 degrees and 63 degrees. And the trend broke here. You really want to be aware when price starts to break the 45-degree line, because that could signal a major move in either direction. Okay, so we have had a look at our bearish view. Let's have a look at our bullish view. Now if I'm selecting pivots here, you can see that all the lines are breached, so nothing's material here. We keep on going down, we don't really get anything valuable. Not until we get to here. We see that price kept on going up the 45-degree line corridor, between 45 and 63 degrees, broke it, tested and bounced down. And it was a major inflection point in this area here. We put on our bearish hat. As you can see, the major violence of what was going on here. Win for the bulls, win for the bears, win for the bulls, win for the bears, and eventually the bears won. I'll break on that. Let's continue on our bullish analysis. We might select the lowest point here. As you can see, you might consider there's some breaching going on down here, and you'll think, well, you know, not as accurate. Just skip up to the next Gann line, or pivot point, I should say. You get better accuracy readings. Here, price went up in this corridor between the 63 and the 75 degrees, very strong. Broke there, held, came down for a test. An excellent trade here. Put on our bearish hat back on. As you can see, it was a major inflection point here, major change between the bulls and the bears. I think QE1 was announced around here somewhere, and this is a continued trade. As you can see, the 45-degree line held strong. But the bears started to win up here. Hang on, just go back to that again. As you can see here, on that pivot point there, a major bottom was selected here. So this line still has not been breached out of that pivot point. You would keep that. Going back to this one here. Whoops. This black line we would keep, and this black and this grey one we would keep. Double click to clear. Back to our bullish stance again. You can see here, you might consider that a breach. You could move up to the next pivot. As you can see, price moved up very strong in this 63 to 75 degree corridor. And as you can notice, there's probably a trading plan coming along here that you'd only want to trade stocks moving in a 63 plus corridor. Any breaching of the 63 angle you would consider getting out of. Okay, so now I've just showed you how to quickly apply the quick draw guide Gann Angles to get a feel of what your chart is like. Once you've gone through that, you can say you can decide which angles you wish to save, and we use the object save method for that. Scroll down here. I have built this chart, but just show you the anatomy of doing this. You select your pivot, either your high or low date. If, for example, you're bullish, you'd select your low date, and a high date would be any date you wish to select above that, and you put your degrees in and draw it. show the Gann angles which I've drawn, because I've temporarily hidden them. So let's rebuild the chart. Right, here's our Gann angles which are current. As you can see, we're in a strong corridor up in the 63 to 75 degree angle. Now it's coming out down for a test as the new year begins. As you can see, there's a lot of resistance up here, so have to wait and see what happens. But I've had fabulous move from here to there, so perfect trade here. As you remember, when we were fishing from this pivot, there was a trading down the 45 degree angle, test, fail, break, a test, and it just took off again. As you can see from this pivot point here, this Gann angle is still current, and so are these angles up here. The Gann angles are an excellent way to find geometry within a chart. Add these angles with other tools such as arcs, percentages, Hursts, cycles, and our read the ticker status tool. You can get pretty excited about when a move is on and how it's behaving. Thanks for watching.